Part 1. Emma was a 28-year-old teacher from Madrid. She had always dreamed of visiting Vienna. One summer, she finally decided to make that dream come true. She booked a flight for the beginning of July. The night before her trip, she couldn't sleep from excitement. At the airport, everything went smoothly. She sat by the window and watched the plane take off. After 2 hours, she landed in Vienna. The air felt fresh, and the city looked beautiful. She took a taxi to her small hotel near the city center. The receptionist welcomed her kindly. Emma left her luggage and went for a walk. She was amazed by the old buildings and narrow streets. Suddenly, she heard music from a nearby square. A group of young musicians were playing Mozart. Emma smiled and knew this trip would be unforgettable. Part 2. The next morning, Emma woke up early. She decided to visit Schönbrunn Palace. The palace was grand and full of history. She joined a guided tour and listened carefully. The guide spoke in English and was very friendly. Emma took photos of the beautiful gardens. After the tour, she sat in a cafe nearby. She ordered Viennese coffee and apple strudel. The flavors were rich and delicious. While eating, she noticed a man reading a book. He looked up and smiled at her. His name was Lucas, a local historian. They started talking about Vienna's past. Lucas offered to show her secret spots in the city. Emma happily agreed. That afternoon, a new adventure began. Part 3. Lucas took Emma to small streets tourists rarely saw. They visited an old bookstore hidden behind a church. The shop smelled of old paper and history. Lucas found a rare book and showed it to Emma. They sat by the Danube River and read together. The sun slowly set, painting the sky orange. Lucas told her stories of Vienna from centuries ago. Emma listened with wide eyes, feeling inspired. They walked back toward the city lights. He invited her to a small concert that night. In a tiny theater, local musicians played classical pieces. Emma closed her eyes and let the music fill her. After the concert, they walked along quiet streets. Lucas pointed out old statues and hidden fountains. Emma realized she was falling in love with this magical city. The evening ended with laughter and a promise to meet again. Part 4. The next day, Lucas took her to the Naschmarkt. The market was full of colors, smells, and lively people. They tried fresh cheeses, olives, and Austrian pastries. Emma bought small gifts for her family. They sat on a bench and watched people pass by. Lucas explained the market's long history. In the afternoon, they visited Belvedere Palace. Inside, Emma saw paintings by Gustav Klimt. She stood silently in front of the kiss, feeling moved. Lucas noticed her emotion and gently touched her hand. They shared a quiet moment in the grand hall. Outside, they walked through the gardens, talking softly. The sky was blue and the day felt perfect. Emma was grateful for this unexpected friendship. Every hour in Vienna felt like a beautiful dream. She didn't want it to end. Part 5. On her last day, Lucas had a surprise. He took her to a small village outside Vienna. They rode bikes through green fields and vineyards. Birds sang and the wind was soft on her face. They stopped at a tiny cafe in the countryside. Emma tasted homemade apricot jam and fresh bread. Lucas told her stories from his childhood. They laughed together like old friends. As the sun set, they sat by a lake. The water reflected the golden colors of the sky. Emma felt peaceful and full of joy. Lucas gave her a small pendant, shaped like a violin. He said, "So you will always remember Vienna." Emma hugged him tightly, feeling tears in her eyes. That night, they said goodbye, but not forever. They promised to write and meet again. Part 6. Back in Madrid, Emma couldn't stop thinking about Vienna. She received an email from Lucas 2 days later. He wrote about new places he wanted to show her. Emma smiled and replied right away. Weeks passed, and they kept writing every day. They shared stories, photos, and small jokes. One day, Lucas surprised her with a video call. Seeing his face again made her heart race. He asked if she could visit again in autumn. Emma agreed without hesitation. She booked her ticket and counted the days. When she arrived in Vienna again, Lucas was waiting. He held flowers and looked nervous. Emma ran to him, and they hugged warmly. This time, Vienna felt like home. Their story was just beginning. Part 7. During autumn, they explored Vienna in golden light. They visited museums, coffee houses, and parks full of red leaves. Lucas introduced her to his friends and family. Everyone welcomed her with kindness and smiles. They cooked together, sharing recipes from Spain and Austria. Every day felt special and filled with laughter. One evening, Lucas took her to a rooftop. They watched the city lights sparkle below. He held her hand and looked into her eyes. "I never thought meeting you would change my life," he said. Emma felt tears of happiness. She whispered, "Me too." They kissed under the stars. Vienna became more than a city. It became their place. They talked about future dreams together. The world felt full of possibilities. Part 8. Winter arrived and snow covered Vienna. They walked hand in hand through snowy streets. The Christmas markets were magical with lights and music. They drank hot chocolate and ate roasted chestnuts. Emma knew she would soon have to return to Madrid, but this time, they both had a plan. Lucas decided to visit Spain for the spring. They promised to continue their story together. On her last night, they sat by the fireplace. They looked through photos of their time together. Emma rested her head on Lucas's shoulder. He whispered, "This is just the beginning." She smiled and felt at peace. At the airport, there were tears but no sadness. They both knew their love would keep growing. Distance was just a small part of their beautiful story.